Hi, today we're going to review this little thing. So, what it is a device to basically log our Wi Fi activity from our phones. There's a lot of data that we don't know about that our phone is sending out all the time about the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi signal saved in our phone. For example, if you have automatic reconnection to your Wi-Fi when you enter your house, your phone has saved the name of that Wi-Fi network that you connect to. But what happens is even when you go out, your phone is constantly sending out signals saying ki if this Wi-Fi is out there with that certain name, please respond. So what this device essentially does is track that. It records such names, it records how far or how strong the signal is, so you can get a sense of how far the phone is, and it records what time that happened, and it also records the MAC address of the device that sent it out. So the setup is basically this is the board is a Raspberry Pi Zero, and after that we have this connection is for power. So it's pretty portable, it can like power directly from my mobile, or I can plug it into the wall. And this connection is for a Wi-Fi adapter. So the Pi Zero has a Wi-Fi adapter built into it, but you essentially need two in this case if you constantly want to monitor it. So this one basically scans for probes, and the onboard one will send the data back to me. The Wi-Fi adapter that scans also needs to have monitor mode as a capability, which can scan such signals. And this third is just if I want to plug it into the TV, this is HDMI. So let's now see it in action. So I can plug it into my phone using this micro USB, or I can plug it into the laptop. Let's plug it into the laptop. So if I start the laptop up, I think I should see the Raspberry Pi also light up. Yeah, you can see there is a light coming on, so it's booting up basically. And how we communicate with it is through SSH. So I have my terminal open. I'll just give it to a few seconds to boot up. And we're just going to SSH into it. SSH is basically a functionality using which you can wirelessly monitor and manage and control other computer systems. So it's still booting up, I think. Yeah, so it's asking me for the password now. So the way the code's written is that it's written in Python, most of it, essentially all of it, and using Python we are putting it in monitor mode and then using the scan capability, and it uses a library called ProbeMon by Nick Harris. Okay, so let's see it in action. So this basically tells us that monitor mode has been enabled, and now we should slowly be able to start to see some Wi-Fi signals going across. So if a phone is already connected to Wi-Fi, it's less likely to send out that signal. So we already have one signal, and it seems to be from an Apple device. This is the strength of the signal, and here we have the MAC address. This is the time, so it's currently around 1:30. So A very good use case of this device is for comparative measures. Why it can't be used for absolute measures is that some phones have a new security feature rolled out quite recently where the MAC address will constantly change. MAC address is basically a physical address associated with each device. So they change it so that for your privacy, so that the device can't be tracked. But quite a lot of older devices or devices which have not been updated recently still have a static MAC address. So sometimes because they constantly change their MAC address, you can log a device twice, and to avoid that, the best use case for this is for comparative measures. So suppose you have an office space. So we now have a Samsung device also, which is using a Vivo Wi-Fi chip, or it's using a Samsung Wi-Fi adapter, but the device is a Vivo device, and it seems to be like it's one of the houses near my home. So we have their MAC address log too. So suppose you have an office space and you want to install some new functionality, say a TV, and you have two lounge spaces, but you only have the budget for one TV. So if you want to find out where you should actually go and install it, what you can do is just set up two of these devices in each space and just compare how many logs did you get, because even for the wrong logs the proportionality should be same. So you should get a normalized number which tells you like which space is more used by people, and you can then install it there. It can also be used by, say, government agencies who want to install public infrastructure and they have choices between different places, so they can log how many, the footfall, basically relative footfall, using this. What we're also going to do is I'm going to take it for a walk today and show you the results after that. What happens sometimes is sorry for that. What happens sometimes is you actually get the names. This also might be the name of the Wi-Fi that they use, the person who has that Samsung adapter. So for example, this Motorola phone which we've recently recorded has a Wi-Fi saved in it called try again later. Now it's actually searching for this Wi-Fi right now by the name of try again later. So you also get an idea of which Wi-Fi networks were available. Sometimes people will put their own names here, which is a security risk. Even bigger one is they put their house number next to it. uh, the other possible uh, use case for this is if I am able to establish these numbers. If you see, there's certain numbers at the end of those, -77, -79. Those are the RSSI, or the signal strength. They operate on a logarithmic scale. So what I want to do is, suppose we single out one MAC address and then we record it multiple times. But if we record it from three different positions, we can actually pinpoint their location to a high degree of accuracy. I'll try to show you what that means. So suppose there's a phone over here and you are over here. So it sends you out a signal, you receive it, but since you only get the signal strength, and suppose you were to able to extrapolate that into distance, you would just get that the device is somewhere in this radius. You wouldn't get the direction. But now suppose you move forward to here and you get a signal, then you can again extrapolate it somewhere in this radius. So now what you know is that the device is somewhere here, and you have a better idea of where it could be. And if you get a third reading, say from here, and then you can get a radius, then you're like pretty certain about where the device could be. You get a pretty good read. So that's what I'll look into in the future. If I can find the distance, I can extract the distance from these RSSI readings, then I'll try to build this virtual scanner basically. So you're seeing people through their devices, but you don't need a camera for it. So I can be outside a house and look in which rooms different people are sitting.